Hey, Shane here from Shane Synthol. I'm here with Suzanne, one of our litigation attorneys, and we're talking about one of her recent client victories where she got a great result for one of our clients, and we just want to dig into that and talk a little more about it. So, Suzanne, tell us about RW's case. What happened?
Sure. So RW was a HVAC repairman, and he was traveling from job site to job site. He was a passenger in a work truck, and they were stopped at a red light, and a distracted driver crashed into the back of them.
So, you know, in work trucks, I always think these big, huge things, and a lot of times I picture other smaller cars. How was the impact itself? How much was there a lot of damage to the work truck, or was there a little bit of damage? What did it look like?
Sure. So he was kind of in just your run-of-the-mill pickup truck, not like a big van or anything like that. And I believe the defendant was driving some kind of Jeep vehicle. I can't remember exactly which model, but the damage was big enough that the tow hitch was actually bent in up this way.
Wow.
So yeah, it was pretty
severe
impact. Yeah.
I was going to say, if you've ever messed around with a tow hitch, they're usually huge chunks of metal and pretty heavy and dense, you know.
Yeah.
So the fact that they hit him that hard means there was a lot of force that I'm guessing went into RW's body when that collision. How were his injuries at the scene?
So he had immediate pain in his lower back, which radiated down his left leg.
All right, so to us that sounds like a herniated disc. I mean, that's certainly one of the fear factors that we see when we see somebody with that radiating pain. I'm always concerned, like, hey, is this more serious than a soft tissue injury? What did it turn out to be?
So it did turn out to be herniated discs, and I believe some disc bulges as well in the lower back.
Okay. Now, I'm going to assume that since he's an HVAC repairman, he's got a lot of bending over and work he's got to do, and I'm sure that made life difficult and challenging for him.
Yeah, so actually, prior to this wreck, he didn't have any complaints for his back or neck. After the wreck, he was put on limited duty, and then eventually was taken out of the workforce completely.
Wow, so his boss tried to work with him for a little while, and then was just like, we just can't do it, right? If you're an HVAC repair guy, you got to be able to bend over and do stuff, right?
That's correct.
Were you able to deal with the insurance? How was the fight with the insurance company? Was it easy? Was it hard? Did it get drug out a long time? Did you have to go to litigation? Tell us about that.
Yeah, so the case was with our firm for about 4 years total. It was with me about 2 years. So yeah, it was in litigation about 2 years. They started off offering very, very small, tiny fraction of the medical bills. And then about 3 months up to trial, after we had deposed his providers, and we had talked to his witnesses, maybe 3 months before trial, they offered the full policy limits.
So it sounds like, 4 years is a long fight, right? So they certainly didn't immediately just look at the bills and say, oh, let's pay him. Let's pay this guy for all of his injuries. And it sounds like we had to prove every single aspect of it, right? Medical bills, and get backup evidence with witnesses, backup evidence by talking to all his medical providers. It sounds like you had to do a ton to get them to come to the table and do what was right.
That's correct. So the issue wasn't with liability, it was just about causation. They were talking about his age. He was 49 when it happened, and because of his labor-intensive job, they just assumed it was all degenerative.
Oh, so they basically want to say, well, you beat yourself up being an AC repair guy. And he's like, no, I did not. I took care of myself. You're a bad guy who hit me is what caused it. And to me, thinking about that trailer hitch is a huge part of showing how much force actually went into him from that. So how did he feel about the settlement?
He was happy. We were able to get him the full policy limits from the liability of the driver who hit him, and then some from his employer's underinsured motorist.
Okay, all right. So overall, he was happy. It sounds like he was lucky to have somebody with him who would do the whole fight and continue persevering and going forward. I don't want to say day after day, but week after week after week. 4 years is a long time to be in the fight with him. I'm sure he got impatient at some points, but it sounds like you were able to calm him down and get a great result for him at the end of the day. Did he tell you what he was going to use the money for?
No, but he did mention, because again, he was early 50s by the time it finally settled, so he would have had another 10 years of work ahead of him, hopefully. So that money was mostly going to go to helping his family get by.
Just take care of things while he's sort of semi-retired or whatever, or finding a different career, huh?
That's correct, yeah.
All right, Suzanne, well, it sounds like he was lucky to have you as his lawyer during this long fight with the insurance company. So great job there. And for our listeners, hit like and subscribe down below for more client victories from Shane Smith Law. And remember, if you're in pain, call Shane, 980-999-9999.
In pain, so I call Shane, 980-999-9999. In pain, call Shane.